Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video with another brilliant Chelsea guest. For some reason I haven't had this guest on the channel for a while. It's been so long. We were just discussing before hitting record how long it's been, not only in terms of our collabs but in terms of being at Stamford Bridge, and hopefully next season a lot of that is going to change. This guy, he's been, I think in terms of Chelsea YouTubers still active, I think I've known this guy for the longest. Since 2014 when I started up my channel, and to see his growth development as a YouTuber has been incredible. His channel's doing so well at the moment, so active on the community, and great to have a conversation with him once again. Younes Talks Football. Younes, how you doing, mate? Welcome back.
Thank you so much, my bro. I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on. One hell of an intro as well. It's mad when you think about it in terms of the longest ones. I think now it's us. I think we're the ones that have stuck around the longest. So, yeah, man, great to be on. Thank you for having me.
I need to shout out Louis, obviously, because I think Louis would be sat there thinking, like, I'm in that conversation, because he probably is. Like, he is.
He came after, though, didn't he?
2015, you know, so kind of, so yeah, it wasn't that long after. But yeah, I think, because I always stress this, and I probably bore my viewers about it, like, literally when I started my channel, it was you and Joe. That was it. Like Joe Nilzaka. That was literally all the, unless there were ones that I didn't know, that was the only Chelsea YouTubers around at the time.
It was. I thought I was the only one, and then I came across Joe, and I remember thinking, "Whoa, there's someone else."
Yeah.
And then yeah, you started yours, so it's crazy. I mean, you look how far it's grown now. Massive.
Yeah, it's mental.
There's too many. You just lose count.
Every day there's a new channel starting, so I wonder what it's going to be like in 15 years. How big it's going to be.
It's become saturated, isn't it?
Yeah. The good old days, we were there for the, like, really real OGs. Like, we knew the struggle. But obviously, you see the picture behind me. I mean, as I'm doing with a lot of my guests at the moment, there's no place really other to start when we're speaking about Chelsea. Obviously, champions of Europe. It happened, of course, in the most mental Chelsea way possible, in the most unexpected season of all. Because, of course, on YouTube, speaking this very relevant, you were covering the team back in 2012 when we won our first Champions League title, and you brought out the lucky hoodie again, or the lucky sweatshirt. It worked. Yep. It worked its magic once again. Maybe just firstly, as a content creator, how do you find it, like, at the start of your YouTube channel, watching us win the Champions League to now, and sort of the differences between the two?
I mean, firstly, two completely different perspectives, especially in terms of like growth and all of that, because back then, I mean, I was new to it. I literally just switched on a camera just to give my opinion, and that's it. There was no, it was raw, like really raw. And you lived it. We all saw it. No one expected it to happen. Like, it was a case of just, it was destiny. We started getting signs and seeing that it was going in our favor, and you're thinking, okay, can we actually do it? And every time we say, no, it's not going to happen, the situation changes, and then we just win the game. Somehow we get through. So that was how it was back then. And, you know, in 2012, it was the last straw. It was the last opportunity for loads of those lads. We knew it was do or die. Like, if they weren't going to do it that year, that's it. They were never going to do it. So that was the special feeling. But this year, we've all developed, we've all grown, we've all expanded our knowledge, we've all understood the game more. I knew nothing about football back then compared to now. Let's have it right. So you see that, and you understand the implications. You understand what's going on behind the scenes. You understand how the team's really working and doing things both on and off the pitch. And again, similar sort of vibe of, you didn't expect it to happen, but it's not a bunch of old lads that have one last chance. It's a bunch of young lads who are attempting it at the first hurdle, the first time, and they've done it. You know, so it makes you wonder, like, where is it going? If they've won the Champions League, they're all like 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Flipping hell, what are we going to do for the next 5-10 years? You know, it's exciting. It's exciting. So I'm really pumped, excited, and especially considering how we were at the beginning of the season compared to how we are now. We've won the Champions League. It's just what a 180, what a U-turn.
I think the thing that I felt throughout the Champions League run was, for me, it was like, it's a very footballer thing to say, but it's like very cliched, like one step at a time. You know, I think and we'll get speaking about Tuchel and how brilliant he's been. I think that something I always stress on this channel is that I think to really put his achievement in context, before the Atletico Madrid game, we hadn't won a knockout tie for 7 years. Like, that's one of those things that people, I think, have dismissed and forgotten. And that's a club that had not won a knockout tie at all. It's not the case of we hadn't made it to the last 8 or the last 4 or a final since 2012. You know, since 2014, we hadn't won any of these knockout ties. We've been done pretty consistently on these knockout ties against the likes of Barca and Bayern and PSG. And Atletico, I remember before that game, there was a lot of sort of fear because Atletico were top of the Liga, and there was sort of this context of, if we could just get past the last 16 this year, it will be a good season in the Champions League. Yeah. And then once we got into the quarterfinals and it was Porto, you were like, we've got an amazing opportunity to make it to the semis now, and we're on a good side of the draw. And then we got to the semis and you were like, this is way better than I thought. And then we've battered Real Madrid and we're in the final. And it was, for me, it was very different, as you said, to 2012, where you felt each game was more dramatic. The level of control Tuchel's team had this time, I mean, we really did deserve, we were the best team in Europe in the Champions League. Like, there was no denying it this time. There was no luck around it. We absolutely bossed all of the games. I know you'll probably just say the final because that's where we won the trophy, but were there some other big moments within there emotionally for you in that Champions League run this last season that really stood out for you?
Yeah, you can't, write off Giroud's goal against Atletico. That's one. There wasn't too much in it for the Porto ties because we kind of expected it. I mean, yeah, Chilwell go around the keeper, Torres vibes, this, that, and the other, fantastic. But you expected to get past Porto. The one that really is a highlight for me is Real Madrid. Because we had some hesitancy in the fact that, yeah, you know what, we might not make it through here. Like, Real Madrid are still Real Madrid. But the amount of control, as you said, that we had was just phenomenal. And especially the return leg at the bridge. That was like, we are seriously good. Like, we are top quality. If we put in this team to the sword, and they didn't do anything, that was a highlight for me as well. That just the jubilation, especially wrapping up the tie with that Mason Mount goal. That moment was, I'd say, you know what, you can't say really on par with the goal in the final, but very, very close. Very close. In the similar fashion of the way that Torres scored at the Nou Camp, and it comes really close to Drogba's goal against Munich. Same with Mason Mount's goal in the semi compared to Kai Havertz's goal in the final. Because that was the final nail in the coffin. Like, yes, we are going to the final. That was confirmation. And to have that feeling of we are in a final again after 9 years, that was just unbelievable. So that sits with me as well.
It really was. And I think, the final, I know I've spoken to some people who've said they couldn't believe we were going to win the Champions League until like 6 minutes into added time against Man City, and I sort of felt the same way, to be honest. It was just, once again in the final, it's that sort of disbelief of how well it was going for Chelsea. Like, all my feeling of 2012 was something's going to go wrong here, the drama of it, and it just never materialised. Like, it was very Jose 2005-esque. Like, that's the best thing I could say about the current team in the Champions League. Is like, it reminded me so much of those great Jose teams when they went 1-0 up, game over. And that was amazing. So I think obviously later in our conversation we'll talk about 2021 and we'll speak about the 21-22 and we'll look at the next season and what Chelsea can do. I want to focus on Tuchel though, because the job he's done in particular in Europe has been truly incredible. It has. How would you rank him in like the greatest Chelsea manager of all time? And I always fear about asking that question because he's only been here about 5 months, but he has just won the Champions League, so he has to go surely in like the top 5 at least.
100%. No, for me, it's crazy to think. But in terms of what he was set out to do and what he achieved, I would say right now he's top 2, top 3. If he wins a Premier League title, I have to say sorry, Jose. I might have to put you to the side.
All my love for Jose's, especially his early years at Chelsea. Yeah, I think if Tuchel was to become the first Chelsea manager to win a Premier League and a Champions League, then yeah, I mean, I think it'd be hard, especially if he does it in his first full season as Chelsea head coach. I think it's going to be hard to sort of not give him that title, given the limited amount of time he's had at the club.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that And this is where I think you gotta compromise a little bit, and you gotta bring a bit of understanding, because that 2005 team was the best team in Europe.
Yeah.
And we should have won the Champions League that year. And it was just unfortunate, the circumstance and the ghost goal and all of that. But we really should have been in that final. And I think if we're in the final, we would have beaten AC Milan. That's just my gut and my feeling. So you got to give credit to Jose for that, because if we had done it, he would have won the Champions League. And that's the one trophy we couldn't get done under Jose, which is what still hurts a little bit, because that would have been magical, you know. So not taking anything away from him, the fact he's got 8 trophies with us, you know, he is our greatest ever manager, easy. But if Tuchel, in the space of time, as you said, he's been in 5 months, he's won the Champions League. Every other manager except Di Matteo, but again interim. But every other manager struggled to do. He's come in, boom, taken a team from 9th, bish bash bosh, won the Champions League, got top 4, got to a final where we performed badly. But if he ends up in his first full season winning the Premier League title, you can't ask for more. You can't get more than that. So you have to stick him up there. I'd say at least with Jose as both level at the top, because it's just unheard of. And then from there, this is where I get excited, because where is it going to lead to? As long as there's everything remaining in harmony, of course, you know how things can happen with our board and, you know, at Chelsea with managers, you know, God forbid. But if that can just keep going and we allow the work to progress, it's scary to think what we can achieve.
I think the most impressive thing for me, like Tuchel, there's 2 sides to him that have really impressed me. Obviously, the most important side is the on-pitch affairs, you know, the results, you know, the tactical side of the game, the way he's developed a lot of players, the way he's taken players that I don't think many of us would have said could have got to a level like the Champions League in the current first team. You know, I look at certain players in that first team that I think I would have had major doubts over getting to that level, but, you know, I think Tuchel deserves praise for that. But also, and I want to ask you about this, I think his off-pitch demeanour and antics have been sublime, pretty much from his first interview. And I've said to people before, go back and watch his first ever interview, because I went back and watched it after we won the Champions League, and even before the Champions League final I realised it was a great interview. And it hit me at the time, because I was, you know, upset that Frank had been sacked, and I remember just being in not the greatest place in that week. I remember listening to his first few words as Chelsea's head coach and just being very supportive of him and being like, I want this guy to succeed. So just talk on that, because I think off the pitch he's been extraordinary, really has. Yeah,
his aura, his demeanour, everything is just nailed on. And that's the thing, like with Thomas Tuchel, this is the difference that it brings to Chelsea. With Jose, for example, a lot of fans, rival fans, you know, other fans, other teams, they saw us and they knew how dangerous we were, and they had to respect us for it, but they hated us. You know, they had to admit, like, yeah, this Chelsea team's flipping amazing, but damn, I hate their guts, you know? And that was the aura. It became us against the world. With Thomas Tuchel, it's more of a, wow, this team is amazing. They're doing brilliant things. And I actually like their manager. I actually like the way that they carry themselves. And it kind of ups the respect even more. Because now, weirdly enough, yes, a lot of people, I reckon, you know, hate the fact that we are where we are and we're European champions because it's not their team. But they don't hate us just because of the way the manager is or whatever, like we used to. They have to just acknowledge and go, yeah, you know what, everything they're doing is spot on, and I respect that. And weirdly enough, we're kind of likable. And that's down to Thomas Tuchel. He's so professional, super disciplined, super clear, honest, knows exactly what he wants on and off the pitch, especially on the pitch, in terms of being able to get a result, being able to play players in certain ways, in certain formations, in certain systems, and getting them to adjust and getting them to play for each other and getting them to understand exactly what he's asking of them. It's second to none. The man is just an unbelievable coach, you know, a proper coach. And that's the reassuring thing. That's a big reassurance. So, yeah, I love Thomas Tuchel. And as you've seen him in interviews and the way he talks, he's always got a smile. He's always got a sound bite. He's always got charisma. And I've said, like, when he first came, I was like, I haven't seen charisma from a manager like this since 04 Jose, you know, where he just had this aura about him and this personality. And yeah, it came with a bit of arrogance, but with Thomas Tuchel, it comes with a bit of class. It's baffling. So yeah, I love everything about the way he's doing things.
One of the things we said before recording was I'm enjoying the off season at the moment. I'm enjoying just sort of relaxing and sort of reflecting on the Champions League win and all that good stuff. But one of the things I have to admit that I am missing is listening to Thomas Tuchel speak about Chelsea. I am missing the press conferences. So, it'd be good to get them back for the new season. Just the last thing on Tuchel, if there was one thing like tactically that you think this is the thing that's really stood out for me and impressed me since he's joined Chelsea, it could be a player, could be maybe not only just a formation, but just in general, what has really stood out for you?
The one thing that stood out is balance. For me, balance, because we had a problem before of we can score goals but we can't defend, or we can defend but we can't score goals. And relatively, we've had that little bit of an issue under Thomas Tuchel in terms of not being clinical, but we do create a lot of chances. We do get goals, not as much as we want, but we do end up getting results because of it. So I would say balance, getting everyone to play in exactly the way that they're required to do so. Everyone is understanding the complexity of their own role and what they have to do. And that's the difference. I think with previous managers, you try and get everyone to play collectively. What I think Thomas Tuchel does is get everyone to do their jobs individually. And then that helps the collective, So yeah, I would say with him, balance, especially going to a back three from the get-go, and not doing it in a way that Antonio Conte done it, where it was ultra defensive. Worked, but it was ultra defensive. This is a different back three sort of way. It's a possession base. It's trying to take control of the game. It's having confidence on the ball, being able to move with the ball, moving quick for each other on and off the ball. And it's just a blend of all of these little factors coming together. And I think, Thomas Tuchel deserves all the credit in the world for it.